and also a written post that I've put up. We've got a situation here with the Internet Party, Ipurani and Mana, and I've been phrasing that situation in terms of Indigenous and digital, and I think there are two sides to that. There's the obvious, well, perhaps it's not so obvious, but you've got an intrusion, I guess, into a traditional world, and so from a strict anthropological point of view, I suppose there's a lot of downside to that. Put that up there, and then come to the fact that people live in an information world. And I'm looking at the policies of the Mana Party and Mana Movement, if you like, and the Internet Party. And my challenge really is to say, why don't we have free broadband to marae and to public service operators, community groups, and that type of thing? Personally, I go further than this. I think that the internet is a highway, and all citizens have rights to the highway. So I don't see why anybody in this country pays for broadband at all, or any kind of internet. I think the sooner we get around to the idea that this is a right, that we have a right to use roads, the better. Speaking of, for example, Mana and Te Tai Tokerau, I have a lot of difficulty with the idea that there's a toll on the road between here and Whanarei. Both on my Dalmatian and Cornish sides, I have ancestry up there, and the late J.B. Smith, for example, is a relation of mine, and if I ever wanted to go up there, I wouldn't want to be paying a toll in my own country to go to see, for example, let's say a memorial to one of my ancestors or something up there. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. And where did that come from? Why are we paying tolls on the road? And the information highway, for me, is the same. Now, that's a strictly personal point of view, but I wait to see any particular political party pick it up. Because it's so left field, and when I put it to people, they say, it's left field, Peter, you can't think like that. And I'm saying, well, of course I can think like that. I don't like paying tolls anywhere in my own country. If some other country wants to do it, well, I suppose that's their business, but I still don't think it's a crash-out idea. The general idea is that when you get to your destination, you pay your tax on your food and all that type of thing, but the road, the highway, that's got to be free to make your economy tick. Surely. I mean, what is this? How did I get into Economics 101 here? Now, coming back to this situation with Mana and the Internet Party, why are we not hearing this type of policy? Here you have an Indigenous rights group with Mana, and I've been involved with that for many, many years. Here you have an Internet savvy group. We're putting these two things together, and I'm saying we need to be developing these types of policies. And when I stood for Mana, actually in Rangitike at the last election, I was talking about this very sort of thing. I was talking about forgotten communities in the King Country and the prices that they were paying for electricity, for the internet, for all sorts of things, when basically, particularly when you had people on benefits, this was outrageous. That there was no way that they could do this type of thing, pay these types of prices for these types of things. So they were being locked out of power and the internet. And that struck me as a terrible form of colonialism, an awful form of capitalism, whatever you want to call it, and not on in Aotearoa. So that's what I want to hear. I take note of what some of the critique coming through today, and I'm going to be posting this, sending messages to Ben Gracewood and the people who have been quoted on national radio in New Zealand, talking about Laila Hare and saying, who's this, and does she really know anything about the internet, and why have the left taken over this Internet Party? And my response to that is this, that the left is as much right to the internet as anybody else, and I don't say they've got any more right. I think that would be silly, just as it would be silly to say that the right wing have some kind of prerogative with the internet. That's ridiculous. That's the first point. The second point is that yes, I actually want to see policies, and I've been calling for policies for a long time in the arts and in the internet. And in fact, I'm advocating policies. I'm putting policies out there. The policy I'm putting out right now is why don't we have free internet to marae and to community services. I go further. I think that the information highway ought to be free, and I leave further development of that to a later date. But right now, why don't marae have free broadband? Kia ora mai rākou te katoa.